It is Friday, and with that man right there, Amwai. Amwai, there's somebody says that if you're working next week, then you should reevaluate your choices in life.
I saw that.
You saw that?
I don't know why.
Yeah.
So somebody, to some extent, it's like you should actually be, play harder, go back to school or something, and things like that. I don't know. So people, this is the thing. So, if you're working next week, these are not people you should be asking for money.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. So
but I was telling you. And I was telling you yesterday, I think we're in the wrong profession. Teachers are on holiday up to the 23rd of January. 23rd of January. That's the entire month at home.
We still have a chance though to shift.
We still have a chance, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
What language do you think you're going to teach in school?
I think I'll do literature.
Literature?
Yeah.
You're that good at literature?
I wasn't good in chemistry and math, and so I'll do languages. So literature for me, I think.
Literature is going to be? Yeah. I'm going to do Swahili specifically. I'm very good at Swahili.
Sure.
I know what Mr. Kabale means currently, officially. I know what to call a mobile phone in Swahili. Tisimu, hapana. Tisimu. Rununu bana. Si televisheni. Wizi sama televisheni. Sama runinga bana. Yeah, that benefited from heavy lessons from our Swahili reporter right there, Henry Tender. Good morning if you're watching. Nimekushinda kwa kazi yako. How do you call holiday in Swahili?
Likizo.
Likizo. Yeah. I'm saying ruhusa. Ruhusa is permission. What is wrong with me? I'm very good at Swahili though. I like to think. Written Swahili.
Spoken is difficult.
Spoken is where the problem begins. Oh. Yeah. Ndakuchapia msamiati na tanakaliza sauti niko nazo mingi. Anyway, Amwai, it is 9 days to Christmas. Any plans that you have, or you'll be here over Christmas?
No, I'll not be here over Christmas.
Oh yeah, so you're one of those who are traveling early.
I don't think I'm traveling.
Oh yeah, you'll be right here.
Plans for Christmas. I think Christmas for me just became the other day, just like any other day. So I don't really plan for Christmas. Most of the time I think I work over Christmas, but this time around I'll not be working during Christmas. Yeah. So I think we'll go just to spend time with family. That's the most important thing. I think that's what normal people do. So I'm trying to be a normal person this Christmas. Yeah. So I will visit my family and see where that takes us. And because it's been a year, most of us have not seen one another. So if at all we get to convene together for one occasion, then let's take a shot. I'll tell you that. A lot that is happening across your dailies this morning. By the way, as you get ready for the festivities, let's take a tiny breather right here on the morning drift. By the way, today is a Friday. We're going to introduce to DJ Bona, and I'm seeing him around. I can't see him on the set, but he's going to come to you shortly then. But now we take a tiny breather. Once we come back, let's jump into the dailies this morning so we can get to see what is taking center stage in as much as that is concerned. All right, welcome back on this Friday, the December 16th of 2022. By the way, there's a lot that is happening across the political scene in the country. So briefly then, just before we look at what it is that you're talking about online, Amwai, you do have the Standard. What are the headlines on it? Now, the headline on the Standard, you're talking about, Senate to be recalled on Kawira ouster. Now, this is the thing. We understand that Senate is currently on recess, but they will be getting back to actually take a look at this impeachment motion that has been presented already. You know that 67 MCS voted for the impeachment of Meru Governor, that is Kawira Mwangaza. Now let me just take a look at what the paper is saying. Now the Senate is expected to convene a special sitting to consider the impeachment of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza in the next 7 days. Now the governor was on Wednesday ousted after 67 out of 69 members of County Assembly voted her all out over alleged gross misconduct, nepotism, illegal appointments and lawful dismissals misleading campaigns against other leaders and gross violation of the Constitution. Now that's the thing. This is a story on page 4 of this Standard, whereby you expect, now this is exactly what you're talking about yesterday, whereby it's not final at the national, at the county assembly rather. We expect also the Senate to have a say in this particular matter, look at whether the due process was followed in getting her out of office. Are they justified to actually impeach her? So does she stand a chance of actually getting back, or this is the end for her? Yeah. What exactly is the Senate going to say? That is something that we will be looking at and just following closely, so that we bring our viewers up to date with that particular development.
That's it. All right, let's then briefly also jump into what you're waking up this morning in as much as the Daily Nation is concerned. You say that, but yesterday we did say how Ruto's shift has changed to the west. The same story. We do know that it's currently in London, isn't it? Yep. Again, second time, if you remember. Just after coming in office, by barely 100 days. There's this story here about Ruto's gift to Raila Keith's turbulence. It is the same thing. It is a plan to create an office, isn't it, in the opposition, which essentially is not envisioned in the 2010 constitution. Now, if I give you the kicker this morning, now President Ruto's plan to create a powerful office for the Azimio chief, Odinga, has run into headwinds, with the lawyers accusing the head of state of contravening the constitution and walking on the same path as the BBI that was thrown out on page 4. By the way, this story is one of those big stories that Amwai is going to bring you this morning. It was covered by Shada Kareria. So more to look forward to onto this as well. There's a particular story here on Joseph Nkaiseri. If you do remember that man, Amwai. Yes, want to read his story? Go all the way to pages 14 and 15, and also a story on how the state has waived import duty on maize, rise to avoid food crisis. Also read that story on the back page of the Daily Nation. That's exactly what the Daily Nation has given us center stage this morning. So if you do want to be part and parcel of this, grab yourself a copy today so that you know exactly what is going on in the country. How's that? All right. Again, we take a tiny break. Once we come back, Amwai Brown and I will be taking you online so we can get to see what it is then that you're talking about in as much as your social media trends are concerned. All right, welcome back. Let's now jump briefly into what it is that you're talking about online. There's just so much that is going on. A lot of political leaders are speaking. All right, let's jump into this first one. By the way, this is from Justina Wamai, and I know, Amwai, you've interviewed her severally, by the way.
Yeah.
I've watched all those interviews.
She's coming soon.
Yes, she's weighing in onto this ongoing saga surrounding Maxine Wahome. This is what she's saying. My people say the heart is a forest. Is it true, Maxine Wahome and Asad Khan, whatever is going on? She's asking about that. Now, the Office of the First Daughter should amplify mental health at the grassroots via MCS. Messi, tell us how does Argentina deal with GBV? Well, that's a confused tweet right there, but we've seen exactly what she's getting at, isn't it? Amwai Brown, your view on that? Now she's officially recognizing the Office of the First Daughter. Your view on that?
Listen, there's so many things that are happening in this country that we want to recognize because of a different political affiliation. Yeah. But that is one thing that I think we should dismiss.
The Office of the First Daughter?
Yeah. I don't think we should have the Office of the First Daughter. We already have the Office of the First Lady. Yeah. And I think that's where it should end.
First Lady?
Because when you start creating the first family, each member of the first family to be having offices, then what exactly are we doing in this country? What responsibilities do these offices actually have? Yeah. So we need to have somebody who takes charge. The first family is very much okay. We have the president, and that is the presidency, and we have the Office of the First Lady. Let it end at that. These other people, let them create their spaces, but not creating offices just because they belong to the first family to some extent. Yeah.
I will tell you that. Just the fact that Justina Amwai is then giving the office the.
But you understand, this is the thing. Politics in this country, you give a comment. If you give a positive comment, you're giving a positive comment to a side that you feel will actually have some space for you. So yes, it's just like a 3 or 4 months ever since we did do the elections. So there's still chances of people being, absorbed in, just included in the government. So if you get a chance of, aligning yourself properly, saying the bad, so that when the time comes they have to consider, they'll be like, oh, now there's somebody who actually recognizes the existence of the office of the first daughter, and we think she's going to do wonderful if she's actually, taken in. So,
do you think she's going to come to your interviews if you speak like that?
Pardon?
She's listening. She might see you speak like that. But this is a
conversation that we've had.
Oh yeah, with her directly.
I was with her this week.
Oh.
And yes, so to some extent, we're still hopeful that there's still something for. I'm saying hopeful. As if it's the both of us. But she's still hopeful that there's something for her when it comes to the presidency and just the government in general. So if you see her making some comments, then and I think the details of that, because she spoke in very candidly on what is expected, what she's actually looking forward to. We'll be getting that in the interview that we did later on during this month.
The way you speak is as if Amwai gets something, then Amwai will be leaving as well.
To the point that I hope so, but to the
point that you're saying we hope that something is going to come up. But listen, the CS positions gone, the PS positions gone. We're waiting for CIS.
Yeah, we are waiting for CIS.
She might get it.
If at all, we go ahead and have these positions. I really don't want to talk about it and say that.
Look here, I'm going to stop. Because I know Amwai will be like, Simba, so none is a work at the highway. I don't want to say which one it is, the street. I don't want to say which one it is. Anyway, let's look at the next one, so we can get to see exactly what is going on in the political arena as well. Even as senators then are getting called back, something is going on in Kano. This is a story that was written by The Star, and they're saying this is Salat who's telling Gideon Moi off. You're the one to leave Kano. Salat tells off Gideon Moi. Let me just, Amwai, let me take you directly to the responses that Kenyans going on. Then the Kano Women Congress, by the way, comes in and says, they reply to The Star. They said, this tweet is funny. Who is this Tomo Janga, by the way? That is the guy around this tweet. And then this is Honorable Austin Ogola. I don't know whether he's an honorable. All right, saying Nick Salat is the first tenant to ask the landlord to vacate. Nambia landlord bwana me talker. Do you think it's funny that Nick Salat should be asking Gideon Moi to vacate Kano?
This Nick Salat, to some listen, depends with what the landlord is saying. The landlord,
I don't think you can ever tell the landlord, but the wet talker. Where do I go? This is my house. You're the one to leave. If you want to leave. Well, who signed who in Kano? Right? I think Gideon Moi, the chair. Definitely, the
Salat has always been very open when it comes to this to matters KANU, and we remember even just in the past what was happening in regards to whether KANU was part of the NASA coalition or not. You hear Nick Salat as if he's the spokesperson of KANU. Then he goes on and says, "Okay, you see."
We're talking about him actually being asked to step down because they are looking at probably a little bit of restructuring when it comes to Mark's leadership. I'd say it's something different.
Yeah?
I really have no idea. hear what is happening.
Yeah.
Here's party because it's not been voted to actually warrant this matter.
This is what Benjamin Koske is saying. And people politics. He's saying, people really love this. Praying that this intensifies, and he keeps on laughing. It's funny, isn't it? When Amwai, if you wake up one morning in your apartment, and then you hear one of your apartment mates telling the landlord, you have to go. I'm not going to pay you rent, and I need you out of here. That's something that you really want to listen into. Anyway, another area. Let me just read one comment, then just before we take a tiny break, because Amwai will be coming back with the news shortly. This is Laban Kitele who's saying it has reached a time when adopted members challenge the owners of the party.
But Simba, listen. I think it takes us to that particular time and, a season that we've always wanted, where we say parties should not be, personal projects for people. You start a party, yes, but it has so many people in it. There's so many people at the decision-making table. So don't make it your own. It is your party or something like that. So when a time comes when you're making the wrong decision, you should be called out. When a time comes when people don't agree with the decision that you're making, people should be right not to agree, so that it doesn't become this party belongs to so-and-so, this party belongs to so-and-so. And I think that is the conversation we wanted to have. So when we are having this conversation where somebody actually can call out the owner, quote-unquote, of a particular party, and I don't think he's the owner of that particular party. We kind of started way back. I think he was very young when we still had Kanu. So how is he the owner of Kanu?
Anyway, let's end like this then and take a break. On which side is Bwana Shenzi Sana Bwana? That guy used to be in Kanu, so is he still there?
He is in Kanu. He said he's a lifelong member of Kanu. So those are the people that are behind the scenes and the people that should actually be considered when it comes to matters decision making on exactly who should be out and not.
I tell you that.
So not the person that is perceived to be the owner of the party. I don't think he owns Kanu. Just because his father was president and was part of the party, I don't think he owns Kanu, because there are politicians in this country who will come and say, we were here before, we were in this particular party. So if it comes to ownership, then we can have a different conversation on that.
Pretty much. Guess what? Take a short break. Once we come back, let's have Amwai take you through the news. Kabla tuambiwe na Chris, mmekuwa landlords bwana. This is Chris House. Let's get out.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
So mimi nilikuwa mmoja wa timu kubwa ya Hasla na ngojea mazao yake.
Na bila shaka mpenzi mtazamaji, ni awamu nyingine tena ya bunge la mwenyeji ambapo tunasikia tu maoni ya wenyeji, hasa wananchi wa kawaida. Je, maoni ni yapi?
Anakwambia wananchi ndio kila kitu. Unaona dips na system ni wananchi. Unaona vile wamenyorosha watu bwana.
Tumeng'oa nanga kwenye bunge la mwenyeji.
So ile kitu nasema tunamuomba asituachilie.
Ni wakati wa mkutano. Njooni kwenye kamati ya kijiji.
Hadithi hii ilianza mwaka 1991.
Vipi kuhusu ngano kwa shamba langu kikauka? Haina haja. Tutakupa kwa njia pia tukapuje.
Mkoa unaojiendesha wa Ninshahui ulitekeleza sera ya makazi mapya ya kuhamisha watu wa maeneo yenye umaskini ya Shiaigu ili waweze kujikimu.
Ninatumaini sana kwamba siku moja jangwa hapa litakuwa kijani kibichi na mji wetu wa Mining utakuwa na miundombinu kamili.
With 5.95 million, you can get a 3-bedroom flat roof bungalow at Golden Park, Juja.
This is the CEO. This time I'm hosting a gentleman.
We are actually into making a new space whereby people can come online and trust whatever they're buying.
We've handed over 9 estates and the 10th handover is coming soon. Your dream home is just a step away.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
Hapa kazi tu inaendelea kuwasaka na kuwatambua wale ambao wanafanya kazi extraordinary na zile kazi za kujituma.
Biashara yote unaambiangwa, as long as you have a plan, you can do it. Our service is about kufurahisha the customer.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni hapa kazi tu.
Ni wakati wa mkutano. Njooni kwenye kamati ya kijiji.
Hadithi hii ilianza mwaka 1991.
Vipi kuhusu ngano kwa shamba langu kikauka? Haina haja. Tutakupa kwa njia pia tukapuje.
Mkoa unaojiendesha wa Ninshahui ulitekeleza sera ya makazi mapya ya kuhamisha watu wa maeneo yenye umaskini ya Shiaigu ili waweze kujikimu.
Ninatumaini sana kwamba siku moja jangwa hapa litakuwa kijani kibichi na mji wetu wa Mining utakuwa na miundombinu kamili.
All right, good morning. Let's begin the news part of the morning drift. Now, defective vehicles, the government has announced a major crackdown in the country, targeting defective personal and public vehicles on the roads ahead of the festive season that have been attributed to the rise of fatal accidents in the last couple of days. Addressing the press in Naivasha, Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has said the crackdown will be carried out by NTSA and traffic police.
After the gruesome road accident in Gata along the Nakuru-Eldoret highway that involved 2 matatus and a trailer and left 7 dead and others injured, Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has announced a crackdown on unroadworthy vehicles as Kenyans prepare to travel to different parts of the country during the festive season.
Working hard to ensure that enforcement is done, NTSA working with the police to make sure that enforcement of the existing traffic rules is achieved.
While urging transport companies to avoid overworking the drivers so as to avoid accidents caused by fatigue.
Drivers are overworking because there is business. The business owners are pushing drivers too much because of the business that is there. Instead of, we want to encourage the business owners to hire more drivers and give our young people more work instead of overworking those who are already in place, and when they are fatigued, now they cause accidents in our roads. Again, that is an area that we must work with the associations to ensure that we achieve that.
Further, Murkomen has urged passengers not to allow incompetent and drunk drivers to ferry them so as to avoid loss of lives, urging them to take action immediately.
If you're overspeeding, if the old passengers in unison tell the driver, you either go properly or we report you to the police or we alight from this vehicle, we will be able to achieve more enforcement.
This comes after the ministry launched passenger trains from Nairobi to Kisumu, targeting over 800 passengers, meant to decongest the roads and reduce the number of accidents involving PSVs ferrying passengers to various parts of the country daily.
Every day, they will carry people from Nairobi to Kisumu. One train will carry about 800 people. So 800 people would have been, if you get 14-seater matatus, you will need about 80 of them, to carry, more than 80 actually, or about 80 to carry people to Kisumu. Now, one train will do that. And if you book early and the demand goes higher, we can also increase the number of trains based on demand.
Murkomen has said the SGL train to Mombasa is also fully booked during the festive season, though plans were underway to increase the number of coaches. Edwin John Mukora, Lookuptv.
Now, the Law Society of Kenya has opposed proposals by President William Ruto to have the constitution amended, tearing down into key proposals, including creation of the office of the Leader of Opposition. LSK stated that the Leader of the Opposition slot conflicts with the country's system of separation of powers, terming its institutionalization impractical.
Few days after President William Ruto wrote constitution amendment proposals to the two speakers of the bicameral House of the Parliament, the Law Society of Kenya LSK came out with clear minds to oppose the move.
That goes against the procedure and the process that has been set out in the Constitution.
While addressing the media at LSK offices in Nairobi County, the LSK President Eric Deuri accused President William Ruto of trying to amend the Constitution unlawfully.
So what we are calling on whoever who wishes to promote a constitutional amendment is to follow the law. Because you cannot use unconstitutional means to amend the Constitution.
While dismissing President Ruto's proposals, Deuri stated that due to the nature of the proposal, the National Assembly does not have the rigid restrictions to carry it on.
It should not even be discussed in Parliament, because in itself it turns logic on its head in terms of the current composition of the Parliament as we know it.
Deuri added that Ruto's proposals are contrary to the court instructions, which led to nullification of constitution amendments under the Building Bridges Initiative BBI.
The amendments are being initiated by the President contrary to the decision in the BBI case, and so therefore they should not see the light of day in Parliament, as there being a very clear precedent that has been set by the courts that those proposed amendments should not be entertained by Parliament.
Deuri has now called on the Senate and the National Assembly to drop the proposals, stating that they are ready to challenge the process in court should the Parliament carry it on.
That should Parliament proceed to take up this initiative, then the Law Society shall be challenging whatever process they undertake in court.
Last week, President William Ruto wrote to the Speaker of the National Assembly and that of the Senate, requesting them to push for a constitution amendment to create an official office of the Leader of Opposition, to legalize various national funds in the Constitution such as CDF Fund, and to facilitate the participation of cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries in parliamentary proceedings. It is a proposal that the Azimio coalition led by their Supreme Raila Odinga has continued to disown. The Law Society of Kenya have stated that should the Parliament agree to the recommendation of proposals to amend the Constitution by the President, then they will be challenging the process before the court. Reporting for Lookuptv from LSK offices in Nairobi, my name is Shadrach Kareria.
With at least 900,000 students graduating each year, Deputy President Kiage Simba is insisting that the Kenya Kwanza government's priority is creating jobs for the youth in the country, as lack of jobs continue to be one main problem among the youth, leading to crime.
Speaking at the Amwai Trade Fair in Nairobi, Deputy President Kiage Simba has insisted that the government's top priority is job creation, urging stakeholders in the security sector to deploy NYS officers to man government institutions and let police officers fight insecurity in the country.
As Cabinet Secretary, we want to have a discussion with government ministries and parastatals and other state corporations to have a concrete plan on how to remove our officers from the security forces to go and deal with crime. And we can have NYS personnel man those offices at a fee. They shouldn't be free, so that we can create a revolving fund to train more people. That is a conversation that we want to have. That we don't want our officers from the National Police Service. We want them to go and fight bandits. We want them to go and fight criminals. We want them to go and deal with the eradication of crime. And the NYS personnel, because they are disciplined, they can do most of the work in terms of controlling people coming in and out of buildings. But we want to have a conversation about payment. We don't want them to offer a free service.
Gachagua also urged stakeholders in the private sector to create more jobs in the country in a bid to boost the government efforts in tackling unemployment in the country.
An employment crisis in this country is a time bomb. And therefore, any investor, any entrepreneur, any organization that has a program that will create an extra job is our natural partner and friend. And therefore wish to celebrate way for the good job that you are doing. You are our friends, you are our partners. We'll be available to you at all times to discuss job creation. We are call away. Anything that creates jobs is a priority for the Ruto administration.
His part, Sports and Culture Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba indicated that at least 500 NYS officers will secure jobs with the tech company Amwai, while noting the importance of job creation in the country, as the number of unemployed youths is always on the rise yearly.
Your Excellency, the ministry has negotiated with Amwai for placement of 500 NYS graduates to be placed in various positions in the year 2023. As the minister that has been given the privilege and the responsibility to lead the government's program for the youth, I want to tell the young people of Kenya that you are a top priority for the Kenya Kwanza government.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
Right, now, embattled former Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko has filed a case at the Mombasa High Court seeking compensation from the Supreme Court. Sonko is adamant the High Court in the land violated his constitutional right by dragging his impeachment case determination in what he says was a deliberate move to serve malicious interests. A reporter Henry Tende takes a look at this.
If you thought the Supreme Court ruling that upheld impeachment motion and barred former Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko from vying for any elective seat was the last kick in his fight for his rights, then you need to think again. Mike Mbuvi Sonko is back at the corridors of justice. This time round, he is suing the Supreme Court for delaying the determination of his impeachment case for 2 years. In his prayers before the Mombasa High Court, the flamboyant former politician wants, among other things, the High Court to find the Supreme Court violated his fundamental rights by delaying the judgment of his impeachment case, only doing so in haste 2 years later. Sonko says the delay cost him a lot of money and time. Sonko is also aggrieved that the delay cost him mental anguish since it came 2 weeks after the Mombasa High Court had declared his candidature in the Mombasa gubernatorial race. That impeachment, according to Sonko, meant that he had to drop out of the race even after investing a lot of money in campaign. Sonko is therefore seeking 50 million in compensation. Sonko has maintained malice in the way the highest court in the land handled his case, at one point picking out the Chief Justice Martha Koome for discussing the merits of his case prejudicial. In the Supreme Court directions of July 11th this year, Sonko says the same court had to apologize after it established it had failed to issue directions in regards to filing submissions in support of the petition. Sonko reads malice in all this, and he remains convinced his tribulations were politically motivated. The former Nairobi governor has an active appeal at the Supreme Court as he seeks to reverse the court's decision that upheld his impeachment on corruption allegations, consequently barring him from holding elective public post. He has also launched an appeal at the East African Court of Jurisdiction over the same. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
Now, the government is now seeking a joint partnership with the Chinese government in the extension of the standard gauge railway SGR from Mai Mahiu to Malaba. Now, speaking in the inland container depot in Mai Mahiu, Naivasha, the Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has said the government was keen to revamp railways across the country as they had turned out to be cheaper and safer in transportation of goods.
This SGR project is eventually supposed to go all the way to Malaba border to join together, because it's not a Kenyan project alone, it's an East Africa project, to join together with what our brothers are doing in Uganda, and then to Rwanda, to Congo, and make our African trade become successful, and business connecting people, trade in goods and trade in services will be improved by having this infrastructure extended. When the rail will open up the new transport corridor through Narok, through Bomet, through Nyamira, and then Kisii and Kisumu, that will open up a new corridor of transport.
Now, Nakuru County executive members have today, or rather yesterday, were sworn in after months of court battles over their nomination to the cabinet. Now, the 11 executive members are set to begin working today, with Governor Kihika urging them to serve the people diligently.
Now it is time to get to office and start working. So let me take this opportunity to congratulate all the 10 of you. And I am very, very delighted that finally this day has come, because it has been a bit overwhelming for the last almost 3.5 months, maybe, because we have not been able to move as fast as we would have wanted to. But finally the day is here, and now we can get to work. I have a lot of confidence in each and every one of you, and that is why you are sitting here. So I am sure that Nakuru is in good and safe hands, in your hands. So thank you very much, and hopefully you will make us proud. I'm sure you will. I want to let you know that Nakuru is not a walk in the park. You will have to work. You will have to work, and I'm sure you know that. Let me also say that I will not be expecting you all to have any interdepartmental wrangles, that I will expect you to maintain integrity, and I have zero tolerance for lack of integrity. And I don't want you to be too embroiled in bureaucracy. So I want you to focus on service delivery to the people and being servants of the people. You are servants of the people. And I want to assure Nakuru County at large that the new cabinet here is representative of every part of this county, of every individual in this county.
Niko hapa kushukuru sana kwa jinsi ambavyo umeongoza hii county yetu, the leadership that you provided. Wakati ambapo umekuwa ukiongoza peke yako, tunashukuru sana kwamba you've really been composed and in turbulence you provided direction. In turmoil, you've shown us the path, and you've provided a very direct and clear path to our county. Tunakushukuru sana.
Now to Matter Sports. A former Harambee Stars footballer Madison Majimbo has encouraged the government to revive sports in Bungoma County. Now Majimbo insists that sports like football should be promoted since there is lack of players coming out of the area.
Nilikuwa kwa national, nilikuwa pan paper, nilikuwa kwa national team, but talent zimekuwa kidogo, not really asijapewa talent search ndakana ikuwa, so that we bring these boys together, boys and girls, so that we can be able to find out ya kwamba they get the right path, because they wana potential, but now the structures, as I mentioned about the structures coming from either kama ni CDF or the MP around, he can be able to revive that. Inaonekana kwamba now is bringing people on board, like for example today the Mheshimiwa, he has done a very great thing, because it's long overdue and it's now coming up. You can see even the public, they are very happy about it.
Now, Zimbabwean boxer Chesda Homakoma landed in Nairobi ahead of a super lightweight title fight against reigning champion Sarah Achieng at Charter Hall.
On weight. Bila chairman, kwanza the two of them only. Take on the side. Wait. Next. Mwingine. Okay. Can join now.
I'm ready for this fight. The best boxer is going to carry the day. Yeah, I'm going to do my best. I'm not here for vacation. I'm here for business. I trained hard for this fight.
You trained in South Africa?
Yeah, sure. I trained in South Africa.
As I've said, it's a Commonwealth title fight. It gives Kenya as one step ahead of professional boxing, because this is what we want. We want titles, and then you put your country on the right map. You are representing your country. Your country is a champion now. They are representing their countries.
Now, Shujaa have been given a lifeline after betting firm Sportpesa, who announced a return to sponsoring rugby. Now, the betting company has partnered with Shujaa on a deal of 126 million, which will see it last for 3 years for the national sevens team.
And of course, you have the captain. Thank you very much. Just the two of them. It's mine.
I think the first thing is to look at the Sports Act and see what particular areas need to be changed to ensure that private sector is encouraged to come in. Because even as we do our sponsorship today, and you've heard the chairman and the vice chair say, as Sportpesa, we would love to see other corporate entities come in and also support the team, because it's not only Sportpesa that is supposed to support the team. But if you look at in terms of sponsorships in Kenya, all teams are struggling. Because Sportpesa might be sponsoring the sevens team, but the individual rugby teams are struggling to get sponsors. So what can we do as government to encourage private sector players to come on board?
All right, that does it for us here when it comes to updating you on what is breaking across the country. And something that you should be looking forward to today is the convicts in Willie Kimani murder case are expected to be sentenced today. Let me just take you read something from that. Now, mitigation and sentencing of convicts in the Willie Kimani murder case will proceed at the Milimani Law Courts today. Several officers who are actually accused in that particular murder case will know their fate today in regards to that particular case. That's a story that we'll be following and bringing you up to date in our subsequent bulletins. Thank you so much for your time. I want to sign out right now, but I'll be leaving you with DJ Bonai as it is Friday, and this is December. My name is Amwai. See you again next time.